This is For What It's Worth. For What It's Worth. It's a video I put together using the song by Buffalo Springfield. So this is a video from 2024 with pictures that are more current, but the song is from way back when. I'll talk about that a little more when we get to the sermon.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. It's time to stop, children. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds, getting so much resistance from behind. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the street, singing songs and they carrying signs. Mostly say hooray for our side. It's time to stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Paranoia strikes deep. Into your life it will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. Step out of line, then come and take you away. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
I'll give you a moment just to reflect on that before I begin my message today. Well, 'twas November 6th, that's a Wednesday. I was drinking a can of fake beer, struggling to write this dang sermon, wondering what are we all doing here? Oh, la-di-di-da, la-di-di-da, dum, bum, bum, bum. Gotta share something good, I'm the minister. You're expecting a good one today. 'Cause we're all in the mood for some comfort here, just hoping we'll all be okay. Billy Joel's song, The Piano Man, was not supposed to be the inspiration for this sermon, and it's not. But it was probably in my head because I heard two dueling pianists play it the night before. I actually chose the song, though, For What It's Worth, written by Buffalo Springfield's Stephen Sills is the one that actually wrote it, because it's about troubled times, similar to what many of us feel we have now. But Stills wrote this back in 1966. 1966. Here's some information from internet sources and AI. The inspiration for this iconic song may not be what you think. Picture this, young people and police clashing on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood. The tension was palpable. Now, was this related to the Vietnam War or discontent over the oppression of any number of minorities or perhaps political discontent? It was the 60s. No. It seemed local residents and businesses were fed up with late night traffic congestion caused by crowds headed to the clubs and venues along the strip. So they pushed for ordinances to curb the loitering and enforced a strict curfew that everyone had to be in after 10 p.m. Well, the young fans saw this as an infringement of their civil rights. So on November 12th, 1966, flyers circulated. This is before we had TikTok, etc., right? So flyers circulated inviting people to join demonstrations. Rock radio stations put out that there was going to be a rally outside of Pandora's Box on Sunset Boulevard. Well, as many as 1,000 demonstrators, including some future celebs like Jack Nicholson and Peter Fonda, gathered to protest the curfew's enforcement. What started peacefully soon turned chaotic, and the unrest continued through November and December. Now, amid this backdrop, this was the backdrop where Stephen Sills wrote For What It's Worth, with a reflection of the turbulent times on Sunset Strip. But I have to think that his mind had to be on other turbulent troubles as well when he wrote this. Certainly the lyrics are applicable to many of the concerns of the 60s, and concerns we still have. Perhaps, y'all, concerns that we will continue to face for at least the rest of most of our lifetimes. That's something I've had to come to terms with. Here's a meme that I reposted on Facebook before the election. So the daughter says, but what if they lose? The mom says, then we keep fighting for the rights of all people. She says, and if they win? The mom says, oh dear girl, it's the same answer. It's the same answer. Yeah. Now, when I first decided to do a sermon on this song, I saw pictures that I felt were relevant for this time and place to be used with it. Did you recognize some of them? Okay. Why is a song that was written in the 60s still relevant today? Didn't we do all that work in the 60s and 70s? Didn't it make a difference, or did it? Well, I think yes, it did. We are better off than we were then in terms of respecting and honoring human rights and in our efforts to live more sustainably and more. I mean, if you really remember back to how it was then, we did make some progress, folks. We made some progress. But I'm no Pollyanna. November 5th was a huge setback for progressive folks like us. And if you've been paying attention at all, you know the possible negative consequences of this election for many folks that we care deeply about, and for our standing internationally, and for this planet. So, you had last week Clint making the statement, what the hell, America? So I think that expressed many of our feelings. So I'm not going to dwell on those possibilities, because though I feel it's fine to acknowledge our grief together, I don't want to lead us to more depression. Instead, I'd like to move on to the now what do we do? Now what do we do? The first thing we have to do is take care of ourselves. There's nothing we can do for people in this country or this world if we don't stop sometimes to take care of ourselves. So I'm going to do something I don't usually do within my messages, and I'm going to ask you to gather with a neighbor that maybe is not your spouse or brother. And turn around to make sure everyone is included, and even these folks in the back, make sure everyone is included. You might need 2 or 3. And when you get in your group, I want for you to share some ideas, some things you have been doing. Some of you are gardeners, some of you sing, you do different things. What have you done since the election, and what do you intend to do in the future maybe? Just some ideas. What are you doing to take care of yourself? And then I'll call you back in. So just stand up or move over and let's do this together. Terry and Phyllis, y'all can talk to each other. Thank you, folks. We can share more about these good ideas when we get to our coffee time. I encourage you to take some of these ideas, add to what you're doing, and please keep up that good work. We need to take care of ourselves. Now, after we take care of ourselves, we can continue to do the good work. We can work for justice for all, peace in this world, a sustainable future on this earth, women's reproductive rights, the rights of all people, regardless of gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, nationality, or religion, security and safety from gun violence, and more. Some have said, I've heard some people say this week, that people like us don't really understand what America is like. And that's why many of the candidates we supported did not win. Perhaps. I kind of think most of us do know the good and the bad. We may not have known the severity of what people might do. It may feel like a dark time for us right now. Here's what Kamala Harris said about that in her wonderful speech on Wednesday evening. This was part of her concession speech. There's an adage a historian once called a law of history. It's true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we're entering a dark time, she said, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. Yeah. Now, I see a bunch of those stars right here in this room. A bunch. You can turn around and look at them. See the stars? All right. But our light will shine brighter if we are shining together. Yes. So to do that, we need to work together to support one another and help one another in some ways in this community. Now, there are a lot of good organizations that I support and you support, but I declare I can think of no better vehicle for doing that than this congregation. You know, when I was growing up in Statesboro, Georgia, I used to see this sign. It said, Statesboro is a bird sanctuary. So I was a little girl, and I asked my mama what that meant. She said, well, if a bird is flying around out in the countryside, people can shoot them. That's what she told me. But if they come into the Statesboro city limits, they are safe. And that was my first understanding of the word sanctuary. Sanctuary. Now later I came to understand that it was also the big room where at the church where folks worshiped. Like this one. Okay, people call this the sanctuary. But big room for worship is not what sanctuary means. It means a safe place. Now, folks, we are a sanctuary congregation, a safe place where folks can be themselves. When I first found out about UU, I couldn't wait to be a part of a place like this. Who else would put up with someone like me? Unitarian Universalism was my salvation, and we can be that for many others, whether they ever step in this room or not. Many of the folks that I provide pastoral care for have never come into this building, but they know that a UU minister is someone that they can be honest with and safe with. That's how they know us as Unitarian Universalists. So today I'm making a plea with you, those of you that are in this, quote, sanctuary, that this congregation and its ministries be here for others in the future, especially for our future generations, and especially for those who may be oppressed for many different reasons or have concerns that they cannot easily bring to their other home ministers, even if they're in another church, or to their family members. Maybe all of them don't have a daddy like that kid in the story did, you know. Being a sanctuary, now, listen to this, people. This is going to be something that little of you might be a little worried about, but it's true. If we are a sanctuary in today's world, it may be increasingly necessary to be that sanctuary, just as it was for our abolitionist Unitarian ancestry. You may need to look back and see what they did to be a sanctuary. My fellow UU religious naturalist, J.D. Stillwater, wrote this about us in a letter last week. He said, we will harbor one another. We will set aside the word mine. We will embrace the always intimate presence of our vulnerability, and we will open our doors to the even more threatened among us. Just as this day's dark clouds conceal slivers of light, we will conceal the innocent from the rampaging forces of hatred. If necessary, we will construct railroads underground in car trunks and shipping containers with floorboards and pronouns and courage, and we will do this because we always have. We've always done this, and we will continue to do it. Now, this congregation is concluding our stewardship drive. We are still quite open to you helping us if you have not already, or to you new folks sharing a pledge with us so that we can have a budget to be able to do the things we need to do. And we invite you to our annual meeting on December 15th. We have important decisions to make for our future. Not only our future, but the future of Unitarian Universalism and how we stand in this community. And if we're going to be here to stand in this community, not just this year and next year, but on and on. We need you. We need other people you know who don't know we're here, but who need a place like us. How do they find out? You need to invite them, folks. They found that most folks find out about it because somebody invited them. Please invite them. We need you. We need one another as we consider our future. I want to share with you some words by poet Kate Bauer that I heard at our ministers' meeting at the mountain this past week. Here's what she said. She said, "It looks hopeless because the hope was sucked out of the room." Kind of a good news, bad news situation. The good news is there's a door. The bad news is that it's difficult to open. Do you remember when we were kids, running down a hill, not knowing if our legs would carry us? That is how you must continue. Wildly, wildly, unafraid of what will surely come. Yes, we do have some difficult times ahead, but there is hope. Do not give up. Stay strong. Stay involved. Keep living. Keep loving. Folks, let's love the hell out of this world. May it be so. Now, we've got a special song. Somebody get the baskets to pass. I don't even think they're in the room. We're asking you to share with us what you can as these baskets are passed around. And please start that now. We appreciate and honor your gifts and know you're trying to help us as we try to help others. And then we're also going to have an offertory, and it's a very special one because it fits very well for what it's like when people are in difficult times and how we will stick together and be together. And Linda and our choir are going to come up, and they're going to tell me when they want me to push the button. We Are One is the name of this. Sorry.